All right. And so yeah, I've got 5 printers, and if you see this little,
That's a cricket, or no? Is that a cricket or a silhouette?
it's
Tell
a
me you're
cricket.
smart.
It is a cricket.
Aw, crickets aren't good. Crickets are. If you've used the silhouette software, trust me, crickets are no bueno.
I have not. So,
Yeah.
but I got it off of Facebook Marketplace for under $200, and it's the Air 2. That's
Okay.
the Air, not the Air 2. It's the Air, but it's not bad.
But what have you done with it? Can you show us some of this? Can you show me some?
Okay, so
Are we going to do a proper introduction, or is this just hanging out with?
that's hanging out. So, oh well, we'll do a little introduction, I guess. So, thank you everybody for joining me, Aaron, the Handy Outdoor Nerd, and Mr. Joe Larson, aka.
Oh, the 3D printing professor. I forgot to put that in my name that I am the 3D printing professor. Hold on, let me edit. I cannot edit. Never mind. I am permanently now just Joseph Larson.
Yeah, only time you're able to edit is if you drop out and then come back in before
Well, it's
you
not
enter.
worth that. It's not worth that.
So, one thing I did is inside is for my wife because I hadn't really used it. The blade that came with it did not cut the vinyl.
Yeah, but you can buy new blades for that.
Oh yeah, no. Like this is some vinyl that came with it. Lovely.
Well, I can't see the shape. It's too small. Is there a pattern on it?
Eyelashes.
Oh, eyelashes. Oh, well, there we are.
You probably can't see the lines, but I tried to cut something, and it just did a little score on it. It didn't even cut it. So that was useless. I had to get new blades, and with all this COVID stuff going on, it makes it a little more difficult to do that.
Shipping right now is just a beast.
What is up, Chris and Wellbot? Garth, how you doing, my friend down under?
Hey.
So I made this for my mom, and I got the back hanging hook put on it. This is actually wood that I planed down, and I got cut. So this is what it says with the vinyl.
Nice.
Now, I've got a picture of what I did for my wife from my son. I still need to put the hanging hook on the back of it. But this is what I did for her from him.
Wow, so you layered 2 layers of vinyl, or did you set it up? Did you just have the handprints there, or did you have the handprints with the letters cut out of it, so you had to precisely line them up?
The handprints are just there. I didn't know how to do that yet, so.
Well, the advantage. Why am I yawning so much? Good grief. Utah is short on oxygen today, I guess. The advantage to not cutting it out is that if you get a little bit misaligned, nobody can tell. But the disadvantage is that those letters are going to stair step up and down around the edges of the hand. So.
Yeah, that is the disadvantage. But that is actually his hands. I scanned his hands on the printer, and then I went in and I cleaned up the edges, and I did a silhouette of his hands. So I ended up just doing the one I did because I did both hands on there. And the one that was the best is which one I chose.
So you had him put both hands down, but you only used one of them, mirrored it to the other one.
Yep. I was gonna do both of them, so they're kind of a little separate. But it was not turning out the best for one, so I figured that was saving myself time right there.
And TK's 3D
TK is in the house. Hey, TK.
Now, Aaron, have you been stuck sheltering in place? Are you actually?
I'm essential.
Well, I don't know what that means. Are you able to move around and go places? I mean, I know what East Central means, but I don't know what that means in terms of open, closed, whatever.
Yeah, we had been locked down there, somewhat opening it up now. But I work in broadcast television, so I'm essential. So everyone can get their information on COVID-19. So I've always gone into work.
Okay.
So.
But this is your home office. It's a very nice home office. Better than mine, actually.
I need to paint the walls. My wife keeps saying that we need to do that too. But there is one benefit to these walls being this color, apparently.
What's that?
It does pretty good green screen.
So sorry, did you switch it out for the TARDIS?
Yes, you're the only one has noticed that so far.
Well, I saw the roundels.
Yeah, those are kind of a dead giveaway.
Well, it depends. So that looked like one of the newer
TARDIS. That's Tennant's TARDIS.
Yeah, I like when he did a crossover with Matt Smith, and he looked around and goes, "Oh, you changed the desktop." No, it wasn't him. It was his father-in-law, the Sixth Doctor. Yes. But he came in and he's like, "Did you change the desktop, or did you change the I don't remember what he said, but he's like, "Is this Coral?" Oh man.
Yeah, it was the Titanic crossover for the Titanic in space.
Just before the Titanic. What's really
crashed
funny
into it
about
that little short, that special short.
That's right. And it wasn't even like, if you just watched the episode, the Titanic just came crashing through the wall. But if you that little special came in for the Red Nose parody special. What's funny about that is my brother-in-law, one of his throwaway phrases, whenever he's talking to somebody who he knows hates spoilers, his default spoiler at the time was always, "And then the Titanic came crashing through the wall." So, whenever people were like, "Hey, I don't want you spoiling anything," and he goes, "And then the Titanic came crashing through the wall," just to, Star Wars or whatever movie, and then the Titanic came crashing through the wall was his generic. This is the most absurd thing that could happen and that you could spoil. And then that episode happened, and the Titanic came crashing through the wall, and he's like, "Crap. I can't ever use that line again."
Someone caught wind of him, like, "Let's do that."
Yes.
That's fun.
So Wellbot is once again displaying his general candor and good taste. Now, what is interesting? Didn't you put that one with the two hands in a heart?
Mm-hmm.
So, not to improve Wellbot's point, but you know how a heart, the organ inside our body, looks nothing like that?
Oh yeah, nothing like it.
Do you know what that shape is?
It's more of my fist.
Yeah, it looks like a fist. But this is not the sign of love. But do you know what that shape is? That is the shape of bosoms and a chest and a torso of a woman, which is okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like you look at Jessica Rabbit, and boom, she's got that shape right there all over her. So that's why we use that shape as the symbol for love, and we call it the heart because it's very. And so, think about where you put those hands. He's happy about that.
He's laughing. He says he's laughing, so I'll laugh.
Yeah.
Say hi. Say hi.
Wellbot's asking about, am I locked down much too? As you can see, I am actually in the makerspace. We have people here. I am very much not locked down. Although I am supposed to be wearing this while I am around the public, so it makes it difficult to talk on video, so I'm not going to. But yeah, I never really locked down. Here in southern Utah, they decided the cases were slow enough and low enough. And my work was like, well, if you need work, we'll stay open and do inventory while we can't open to the public.
Yeah.
And then we finished our inventory, then we opened to the public, and I'm back here, which is very good because during those couple of weeks, I wasn't in the makerspace. I could hardly use the equipment here. And boy, was I getting an itch. But I did take 2 weeks off. I was like, well, they told us to self-isolate. I'll go home. So I had a 2-week vacation, and that was very nice.
Oh, I bet.
In fact,
Hey, one Raz.
every year I need to like take just a week off of work and just have a staycation for a week, you know?
Oh, yeah. Completely understand that.
So let's see. One Raz. Hey, hey, One Raz. Sorry about that. That conversation was a little bit inappropriate. Let's not beat around the bush there.
Let's leave that alone. Let's leave that alone.
Yeah, and again, the mask, the 6-foot social distancing, it's all compliance at this point. I don't think anybody feels particularly threatened out here. I mean, I think in this entire county we've had 15 confirmed. Well, I don't know. Very low numbers. Very low numbers. We're definitely not New Jersey here. And if I can go off, where do you live, Aaron? It's out.
I'm in Missouri.
But it's a rural area.
So I am about 45 minutes away from Springfield. I live in a small town, a rural town.
Okay.
Outside
how are the numbers? Springville, how are the numbers? And outside of Springville, how are the numbers?
So far here in town, I've not heard of anybody here getting it in my small town. But it's okay. But I mean, there's been quite a bit of people in Springfield that's gotten it. I think there was about 6 or 7 fairly recent ones that happened. And I only know that because I work in broadcast television.
And you're telling everybody those numbers. And that's the thing. Anywhere that people are closer, and if you're living in an apartment and there's somebody above you and there's somebody below you and there's somebody to the left and somebody to the right, you're in more danger than you and I who are living in suburban and rural areas who already are a little bit more spread out. And not to put a moral on a life event, but if there were a moral to this life event, it would be cities are killing us.
Yes. They are. So yeah, that doesn't help.
I keep telling people they need to move out of the cities. They need to come to these places that are a little bit more nice and spread out. And they're like, "Oh, but I love the city." Yeah, you loving the city now? How you feel about it now?
Yeah. Yeah, I am glad that I live in a small town.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not feasible for everybody. I understand that. But at the same time, like if you're living in the city for what you're paying for rent, a lot of people could mortgage a house for that sort of money,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's the thing. So, but I live in a small town and I have an acre.
Ooh, dude. Yeah, I haven't got an acre, but I've got a pretty good backyard, so.
So, I mean, it's nice to have a good sized backyard.
Yeah, it is. Well, especially if you're raising kids. A lot of if you're single and stuff like that. Listen, I understand, but a lot of rural places have like small apartment complexes that aren't 200 people sharing one air conditioning unit.
Oh yeah.
And for less money than you'd pay in the city, we lose the nightlife, and you also lose Corona.
Yeah, and I really don't feel like a nightlife. Well, one, I work, so.
Well, you work and you've got kids. I mean, you and I don't have a nightlife anymore. We had our nightlife. We're done.
My nightlife is I'm up working, so that's about it. And yeah, I don't feel like partying.
I've been really lazy working at night. Actually, so I have been playing with an idea, and I'm going to very soon start this on my YouTube channel. But yesterday I was doing some playing around to see if I could get the hardware to do an online stream from the makerspace and have classes and stuff for people to join me. But the other thing that I want to do from the makerspace is do you play Minecraft?
I've played it once.
Okay. See, my thought is to take people in the making community, people who do amazing things, and bring them onto a Minecraft server and play Minecraft with them. And I would love to get people who have never played Minecraft and just have a video of fails of them trying to figure out how to play this game that they've never played before and introduce, because I think that Minecraft is a very maker friendly game if it's played the right way. But I don't play it in creative, I play it in survival. So yeah.
Oh, that's understandable. Yeah, I don't remember what I was playing it in. It may have been survival. It was only the one time I played it. So
were there zombies trying to kill you at night?
Probably. It's been years. So
well, I ought to have you on my Makers of Minecraft show, and I'm getting very close to being able to do that. So I ought to have you there. We should hang out sometime and show off some of the things that you've done and see if we can survive the night in Minecraft. Let's see. Well, Bob, where are you from? We're talking about rent in.
He's in Australia.
So what time is it right now in Australia? Thank you for joining us in the middle of the night, Wobot. But he's saying he pays $285 a week. That is a weird metric per week. So that's $1,100. That's how much I pay for my house, honestly. But that's also, I don't have a house in Australia. I would love a house in Australia. Brisbane too. I've got family in Brisbane. So
there you go.
Yeah.
If you ever go down under, you can visit Wellbot.
Yeah. Well, I would love to have an excuse to travel to Australia. You know, now would be the perfect time to travel because air rates are so low, and they're going to be coming up here real soon as people
start traveling.
Stop being such germaphobes.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it'll kick back up this fall.
Yeah, they're going to go flying up, especially once I think. Okay, if a vaccine does come out, hey, could you do me a favor, real quickly? Yep. Pull that one off and hit restart or reprint that one again because I need 3 of those. Sorry, talking to a patron here in the makerspace. We are busy and working.
Understandable.
Are you printing a low poly dino on that? Okay. He's so there's a young man here in the makerspace who's testing the eCube maker, which is a 3D printer that you can pop the head off and switch it with the CNC machine and pop the head off and switch it with a laser cutter. And it's got a very small build volume, but it's very cheap for that. And overall, I don't know, what would you say? Thumbs up or thumbs down on this machine generally?
I love the laser.
And the 3D printing has been, it's one of those dual filament that's supposed to jiggy jog back and forth to.
Okay, yeah, it does that. The single extruder, but it does the 2 inputs and the 1 output.
And that is fiddly. Fiddly is all get out. So they keep bugging me. They're like, "Are you going to review this printer?" And I'm like, "Don't necessarily want me to review this printer right now because I don't have a lot of good things to say about it." You know?
Yeah. No, I understand that.
I don't know. It's one that I want to like. I really do. But I've challenged the young man here who's testing this for me to print out all of the low poly dinos, and so he can have those to play with. Did I ever send you the low poly dinos, Aaron?
No, you did not. But
I sent you printer block, didn't
I? Correct. But on your Kickstarter, I actually backed the low poly one with it.
So you've got them. You just need to download them.
I've actually printed 2 stegosauruses. One is one for someone I work with, and one for my son. So he's got a stegosaurus that's this color blue, and he'll play with it now and again, and he'll roar for it. So it's cute.
The Stegosaurus was a hard one because I really wanted those models to be kid friendly, and so
Yes.
that Stegosaurus is very pointy.
oh yeah, but my Flash Forge is what I printed it on, and it perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. It did it so good.
You know what's funny about that model, and this is a good example of the whole low Poly Dino project, is I modeled the Stegosaurus, just kind of looking at reference photos and just from my own head what a Stegosaurus looks like. And then my wife and I went and watched Jurassic World 2. It was an awful movie. It was, my goodness, I could go off on how bad this movie was. But they had a Stegosaurus running in it, and I noticed that when it was running towards the camera, and I had done the spikes or the spines straight up, but its spines were tilted out.
Yeah, they've got a little
bit.
So
I had to go back and edit them. But so much of low poly dinos was me learning more and more and more about dinosaurs, and now I feel like I know freaking everything about dinosaurs because I did this project. So it was really cool.
I got a new project for you.
What's that?
You ready for it? Low poly dino bots.
So there was a thought. There was a potential future trajectory for printable blocks that are robots and beasts. Beast robots that would include dinosaur parts and stuff like that you could potentially mix and match and make whatever you want. So I think that yes, there is some potential with that one. Oh, hey, Wellbot, thank you very much for popping that up in my Discord. Now go ahead and throw that up in the oh yes, thank you. You know what, I'm going to put this on the announcement or the TV channel. I appreciate everybody who hangs out in my Discord. I listen to every post on my Discord, but I haven't been posting on my Discord lately. I don't know. Oh, look at somebody did a couple of printer blocks on with the multicolor, but with the wow.
Nice.
I don't know if you see it. Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Yes. Share it and I will pop it up.
All right, I'm sharing. There we go.
Wow.
So he used multi-material, multi-material printer, I'm not sure what technology he used, whether it was dual nozzle or what. So this one was very intentionally rainbow colors, but this one you can see the back and the horns and the eyes and the nose are all supposed to be different colors, but he got the purges wrong. Yeah. So they're transitioning independently, but wrong with each other. And yet I love the effect. I think it's gorgeous. I'd love to know what it was supposed to look like, but there's somebody printed the Cheap and Mall Otter. So I need to get back in it. I need to get back into a lot of things. It's been a little while. It's been a hot minute since I did any good 3D modeling, and I need to get back into doing that. Honestly, because COVID, my work started doing inventory. Because of inventory, I didn't have my regular schedule, and I didn't have my normal time for doing stuff. And so I got to do less broadcasting and less videos because of COVID, whereas everybody else was like, well, I'm locked down. I'm going to do 20 live streams and make 200 review videos and stuff like that. I'm like, I wish I were you.
Yeah, I didn't have that luxury at all.
No, you didn't either. No, you and I both had to work, but in different areas.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just been work for me. So, but I've been getting stuff done that I've been wanting to do. I've been working in here. I mean, it's still a mess, but kind of clearing out the shelving over here. And you can kind of see right here, this big tub was
beautiful
down over there. This is my workstation that I put casters on. So whenever we bought the house, this was here. Mm-hmm. So I just put casters on it. So whenever I want to work on something, it's what I can do. I need to get it more set up for, I want to set up a little pull-out drawer that I can set stuff on. But that's where I will do my soldering and everything. I've got my soldering iron stuff there. I need to get it up, mounted up there on my pegboard. But since this computer needs work, this printer needs worked on, that's where it's set, and it's set on my workstation. So, but that's got my airbrush stuff, some wires, and this tub
I love
here.
I love your use of a lot of little tubs. I think that is the way to go.
So I've got 3D printer parts in that big little tub down there.
I think that people underestimate the value of working on your space as a project.
Oh yeah, so it's
they're like, oh, but this is not doing something cool. It's doing something that's going to help me do something cool. Why don't I jump straight to doing something cool? And if you take that time to get it clean and organized, it pays dividends.
Yep. So, but this this desk that I have, which is way different than my original desk I had in here, because it had a little shelf that was built onto it. This is 2 desks, and you can kind of see the color. Right down here on this one, I got this one for $10 and this other one for $20, so $30 in all.
Can't see the other one in your camera.
It's the same as this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just where my computer's set on.
Yeah.
This one right here, though, this little lip of the stuff that sits around the outside of it to make it look all nice.
Trim?
The trim, the kind of veneer around the outside is kind of a plastic, and it was off. They had tape on it, and they had attempted to glue it down with I don't know, Gorilla Glue or something. I used my brains, and I put it on its side, and I used my heat gun to heat this up.
Okay.
So that activated the adhesive and allowed the plastic to stretch and bend towards it, because there was no way cold that I could get this thing to fit onto it.
Yeah, but by getting it hot, you were able to snap it. Now, did you use any Gorilla Glue or adhesive yourself to make sure it stayed in place afterwards?
I did not. So this adhesive was sticking right here. It was not. But what I ended up doing was I took some nails, and you can't really see it, but I did little rivets with nails to go all along it to make sure it stayed.
So not really adhesive, but adhesive.
But I made sure it stayed. I ensured that it would.
My camera's so bright.
But that's what I did with that. I need to put some shelving up here so I can put all my geeky stuff that I had to take down that was sitting up there that I've gotten from like loot crates or stuff, Christmas.
Well, I was going to say I am envious of your wall space. Well, just the fact that you have wall space, because my home space does not have wall space, and I miss it. I like your little pegboard up there that you can pin stuff to. Yes,
it needs more stuff set up on it so I can put stuff up better. But yes, actually, I don't know if you can see the orange right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3D printed. It's 3D printed little drawers. I got 2 of them.
Ah, cool.
So, yeah.
I just adjusted my camera a little bit because I noticed that your color was much better than mine.
So here's one thing I've been working on.
You 3D printed that?
I 3D printed it. I designed it myself as well.
What orientation did you print that in? What goes flat on the ground?
Goes like that.
So the bottom of those connectors that are very, very round, how's that working out for you? Yeah, they're crap.
Yeah, well, I also did it with the supports in for the flash forge. I didn't do the normal supports that I would do and everything else. I did the more of an SLA support style, that one.
Tree-like supports on that one.
But I didn't have them high enough off for it to really do much of a difference. So, but it doesn't matter because that goes into an actual hose. So this,
Yeah, the hose completely covers it up. It's
yeah,
a
it just
rubber
goes into
hose,
it.
so it stretches around it. So a little bit of imperfection is fine. Plus, you get yourself some nice rasps, and you can clean that up nice.
Yes. So that's all that's
So it looks
for.
like you're doing some gardening.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
this
I
is.
love those drip water systems.
This is actually a misting system. This is for my little greenhouse. I need to finish getting it worked on.
I keep wanting to do a greenhouse, but unfortunately, my ambition way outstrips my money and time. Because I would love to do a hydroponic system. Oh wow, those are cool.
I've got a lot of them now.
And they just screw right into a normal hose, huh?
Yes. So I just found a size that would allow me to a drill bit that would allow me to be able to have room to screw them in. And I tested the pressure fit on it. Like I need to try it with actual true pressure. But I put this into my spigot I have, and then I plugged the other end. And I held it, I let it go, and then just it misted out those nozzles, and then it kicked them out. So that was a bonus.
There is a company locally that makes hoses and arrangements and stuff like that, so that people can have their gazebos misting them to keep it, because it gets really, really hot in southern Utah.
I believe it.
They charge thousands of dollars for what you're doing right there. Of course,
I bet.
They also guarantee it for some period of time, and you're going to learn a lot from that experience.
Oh yeah, and I figured with these, whenever I get them put into place, that I can get a clamp to just clamp it onto it, and I'm set.
So Steve is in the chat. How come he's not? How come he's not joining you here? It's always been Steve and Aaron.
Chris, you mean?
Chris. That's what I meant. Did I say Steve? I meant.
You said Steve.
That's all right.
Well, Chris works. I'm not sure
wrong.
if Chris is done working yet.
Well, he said that he was working with the laser cutter for cutting boxes for homework to be turned in, which I'm very curious to know more about.
That is interesting.
I'm wondering, like, is he just making like little notches? I'm curious. And is he sending these home to the kids and stuff like that? Hey, Scott's here.
Hey, Scott, how's it going? So yeah, no. So I've done this the hanging out with Aaron, the handy outdoor nerd, before, when it was just like me doing things, or just before we started the AC show. I just have Brian Vines on there, Jimmy, I had Garth, just a bunch of different people just on there. And the last one that I did was when Chris couldn't make it. We were having Sean from Joel Tellings, his camera guy, editing guy. He was coming on the show, and Chris couldn't make it onto it, so I just put, hanging out with Aaron, the handy outdoor nerd.
Yep.
And I've thought about just doing it. Just, it's kind of a talk. We can make things while we do it, and just no true structure or need to be done at this point. Could go half an hour, could go an hour, could go 2 hours. Just kind of get together, talk, communicate with people in chat, just have fun.
Right.
So here's one thing I did. I need to work on it for the cricket cutting out. But I saw it was this day, back when Jim Henson passed away. So I cut a window decal out test on my cricket.
That's Mickey consoling
Kermit.
Kermit, yeah.
So there's a few things I need to work on for it to get it looking better in the darker spots, but that wasn't too bad for my actual first cut out. like that.
Well, it's funny. I don't have much to show you because I only just got back into the makerspace, and yesterday I spent all day. I don't know if you saw my tweets where I was playing with various audio setups to try and make it so that I can record while up and walking around.
I did actually. I did see that one. I did see you're testing it and walking around.
So I was trying to do that today with a $12 knockoff
earpods.
In pods is what these are called. But so far, I haven't been able to get the microphone to respond on these, which might be why they were $12.
I've got a $12 set of those. They're in a black container.
Well, I got these specifically. Where's my proper one? The one thing I hate about AirPods is they look like a white drip coming out of your ear, and so I took mine and I used some brown Sharpie and kind of speckled it on there and used some acetone to dab it off so that it kind of not
blends in
perfectly, but blends in. It blends in more than it stands out.
Yeah. So
but I got some proper ones, and those are the ones that I use. But I was like, I could do a comparison and see how they work. It works so poorly that I can't even do the comparison.
Yeah. So my wife got me these this year around Christmas. For Christmas. Yeah.
Well,
they're called MPOW is the brand, and the one thing that's annoying whenever I go to, because you touch it on the M's to pause it, and that's how you also turn them off. I have the annoying problem whenever I gotta turn them off that it goes disconnected, reconnecting.
I hate that. Well, I will say that what makes proper AirPods worth it is that they have these things down to a science. And I did get another pair that were similar to yours, but these ones have all kinds of control. Single tap, bass boost. Single tap on this side, double tap, pause, but triple tap, you'll get it, or tap and hold, you can rewind and tap and hold on the other. And I'm like, I can never keep this straight. Plus, you only register it half the time, whereas these are like play, pause, and we're just going to have a little switch sensor in there, and double tap is the only thing so you don't accidentally hit it. Perfect.
Yeah,
talk about simple design.
Oh yeah, these do the same type of thing. I'm just like, I know how to pause it, I know how to play it, and turn it off there, and then I can accidentally control the volume with it when I'm not trying to. I'm like, how am I?
Yeah. No, all I need is I'm listening to crap. Stop listening to crap because I need to talk to somebody in the real world. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, my wife's been wanting some type of earpods to use. So for Mother's Day, I bit the bullet and got her actual earpods. I didn't go the expensive pro version. I did the cheaper as you can go.
Mine I think were like $114, which is more than I want to spend on something that I'm sticking in my ear. But in the end, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
And especially if I can use them for streaming, I don't regret it at all.
Well, and that's nice. And the nice thing is on those is you can see the individual charge. This only
picture of his boxes on Twitter.
I did see that. I did see it pop up on my notifications.
That's pretty cool. So he just made boxes that are basically extended cubes, longer, wider, with little notches on the side, and he puts them together. That's very cool, Chris. I love that.
Cool. But these ones you can only see the power for the right ear pod.
Oh,
that's all it registers, and then if the right one goes out, you can't listen to anything.
That's why they're cheaper, because the left one is paired to the right one, and the right one is paired to your computer.
Yep.
And yeah, I discovered that these ones will actually switch back and forth, but by default, the left or the right is the only one that the microphone works on. But if I take the right and I stick it into the thing to charge and keep the left in, then it switches. So it works. I mean, I don't necessarily want them pulling in my voice in stereo.
Yeah. And I use these for listening to my audiobooks. So, but it's nice. I enjoy
What are you
them.
listening to on? Hey, what can I do for you? Actually, no eating in the makerspace. They won't even let me eat in the makerspace because we have soldering and lead and stuff in the air. So, yep.
So I am listening to. I just yesterday, got onto book 8 of the.
We'll see you in a bit.
Huh?
Talking to a patron.
Okay.
I need a pause, or I need a mute button.
The Expanse.
I've heard of this one. Why have I heard of this? I mean, I work in a library. Of course, I've heard of this one.
The Expanse is from James S.A. Corey, and Sci-Fi has turned it into a series.
A TV series. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
And that TV series has gotten a lot of praise for being scientifically accurate. Like
the book is pretty cool and pretty good.
But
so
like when they're writing, when the guy is riding out to the ring and the ring brings him to a quick stop, like inertia causes his body to just become a red splat. Like nobody points out the fact that hyperspace travel would kill us.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it is really cool. And one thing that made me laugh is one of the ships in it was the Mark Watney.
I don't get the reference.
The Martian.
Oh. so we got its reference. Is he trying to say that it's in the same universe?
No, it was just he named one of the ships Mark Watney, and I laughed. Oh, I laughed hard.
But Mark Watney is the astronaut in The Martian. So either that spaceship was named for a fictional book in their universe that's also our universe, or Mark Watney was really the first Martian in their universe, and The Expanse is taking place in the same universe as The Martian.
Yep. So I mean,
which one is it? Who knows?
Because The Expanse takes place 200 years in the future.
Okay.
So
there was a theory a while ago that all TV universes are interconnected through Tommy Westfall. Have you heard this one?
I might have, but go ahead.
Well, Tommy Westfall was a I have to look it up here. So there was Saint Elsewhere. So there was a TV show called Saint Elsewhere, and when it had its last episode, it ended kind of weird, with the implication that everything in the TV show was actually a dream of a autistic kid.
Interesting.
But because characters in Saint Elsewhere had interacted with characters from Dallas, then therefore Dallas was imagined by Tommy Westphal. And every time we have a connection, and one of the CSI characters showed up on Dallas, so that means the entire CSI universe. And there is a huge web of attempting to connect every TV show through every oblique crossover. And so I think the question of whether The Expanse exists within the world of The Martian or in our world, but it's referencing it fictionally, is which one has a faster connection to the Tommy Westfield connection.
Gotcha.
Like Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, Aliens, they've all been tied into this theory. What you working on there?
I am.
Is that a little bit of Fusion 360? I see.
That is Fusion. It is.
I feel so bad for you.
Got a thing I've been trying to work on. So let's see.
You know, I joke Fusion 360 is a fantastic program, and one that I think it's inspiring and amazing to me that if you were to pay for it, you don't gain any new features.
Yeah,
that is huge in my mind. That is that's bad business, but they're doing it.
Yeah,
and I like that. I like that, and I think that that's going to come back to them in goodwill. But my problem with it is every time I use it, I feel like they could take it away at any moment.
They could.
And I don't know.
They truly, truly could.
But Blender,
nothing you can do about that. Blender, I love Blender.
But the thing about Blender, which I love, is you get the download. And if they decide, you know what, no more Blender is no longer free, all future versions I'll have to pay for, fine, I'll just use this version that I downloaded yoinks ago, and I'll be okay forever.
Yep. I actually have on my Mac here the 2.8 version, so now I can actually do stuff.
Blender 2.8?
Yep.
Yeah, Blender 2.8 was brilliant. Mute my mic for a second.
Edit feature. You're all done, aren't you? Doop. All right, let's see.
Yeah, Blender 2.8, Blender 2. So I'm kind of miffed at Blender now because they're coming out with 2.9.
Already?
Yeah, but here's the thing. 2.8 was not. 2.8 was a huge departure. It was a huge change.
Shift. Yeah.
Yeah. 2.9 is not. It's just the next version. And what I think they should have done is with that huge shift, they should have called it Blender 3. Because now people are going to be like, oh, your Blender 2.8 tutorials are out of date. No, most of it's still accurate. 2.9 isn't that big a departure, so my 2.82. But if they'd have called it 3, I could have said Blender 3 tutorials, and then 3.1 and 3.2 and 3.3 would all still be relevant, you know?
Yep.
So Chris says, I need to do some Blender tutorials. Chris, I have done some Blender tutorials. Go take a look. My Blender 2.8 tutorials are amazing. You should go check them out. Hey.
I need to check them out since I can actually do Blender.
Yeah, Blender. And Wobot points out it was a sorely needed change. It was a sorely needed change. Blender was a mess. I don't think anybody can deny that. I don't think anybody can fight that statement.
Oh no, Blender was a big old mess.
Well, and it still has the legacy of some of that mess. There are things that it does that I'm like, guys, come on. And their reasoning for doing it the way that they're doing, okay, like in the old version, the right mouse click to select.
Yeah.
Made sense because the majority of what they did was what would normally be left mouse click. So they swapped left and right because you're using your left more than your right in Blender. They do a lot of right mouse clicking, or what would be right mouse clicking, so they made the thought to switch it. Come on, man, like left and right is that difficult of a thing to do? It's like arguing for Dvorak. Yes, you can prove that it's mathematically more accessible, but the fact that it takes people forever to learn and it doesn't actually gain them much Kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So they recently in Blender 2.9 they added a new feature to the smooth subdivision surface modifier. You can take a cube and you can subdivision surface it and make it rounder. And this allows you to take complex shapes and turn them into nice organic shapes.
Interesting.
Well, you can mark edges and say turn these into creases, and you can even say how much of a crease it is, whether it's a sharp crease or whether it's a gradual crease on there. And they added a new option that is use creases or not. You can tell it to turn off. You can mark those creases and tell it to ignore them. So if you wanted to see how it would look with and without them.
Wow.
And that's great. I love options. I love that they're adding an option. But then they make the default for that off. When the old behavior, the default was essentially on. It wasn't on because there was no option. The option was always use creases. Now they have an option, but they made the default for it, don't use the creases. So if you pull it up and like your creases aren't working, you're like going, well, what's the problem here? And you learn that there is this option that you have to click. And that's their reasoning for doing it. By setting it something other than the default, people notice the change and will learn it. But like that's kind of crappy. Like I should be able to just flow through with the way that I'm used to doing it and discover the option later. Instead, they force you to do a hiccup and figure out what's wrong with their changes.
Yeah.
So again, their reasoning is sound, but it's unintuitive UI design, and that it is admittedly still existing in Blender 2.8, and it will continue to exist because these people are awesome and a pain in the butt.
Yeah, both. But Blender is actually what got me started in doing 3D design and stuff.
Cool. Okay, Kira is being a pain in the butt. My Kira just locked up.
Oh, I hate when it does that.
Well, so what's weird is when I click save to removable drive, it locked up, and then I was like, well, good time to upgrade, so I upgraded it, and now it just locked up. I was like, well, I was counting on you to fix that. You didn't fix that. You failed.
Yeah, that does not help.
So what are you designing there, Aaron?
I am working on, so this is my kayak. And this is where a rudder would go into. I'm making a mount for where a rudder can attach to. So whether I make a rudder or I buy a rudder.
That is a very small kayak. I mean, those are millimeters there, right? Yeah, that's a tiny kayak.
So that's just the little back part. So my kayak is.
Got a meeting?
Oh, let's see.
You know, Kira, if you're going to lock up, you could at least have the decency to close when you won't work. When I say close and end task, boy, this is, oh, it's choking. Well, I'm not going to slice that model right now. And now my task manager is not responding.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, boy. Now it's probably not the right time to open it. Well, if I suddenly disappear, just understand it is because my computer imploded upon itself.
I understand that. All right. This is my kayak.
Wobot says that the default option for all subdivision things in other surf software is off for creases. Well, I didn't know that because I don't use other software. Okay, that look, I mean, there's no scale in there, so that could be
It's
one for each foot.
It's
Pointed
12
little
foot.
Dutch shoes.
So that's about a 12-foot kayak. So
where do you go paddling?
well, I usually go fishing on the rivers, but I've not been out at all this year to go fishing yet. It doesn't help that we've had rain like we were in Seattle or another really, really rainy place.
Singapore, the tropics, anywhere in the tropics. During the rainy season, that is.
Yeah. So.
Come on, Mr. Computer.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I need to send an email to Ultimaker. So, Chris is saying, I'm looking at a download for Blender 2.82a. I actually just jumped in and downloaded Blender 2.9 beta or alpha. It's stable enough so far, and it's got some really nice features. One thing that I like about it is when you're inset extruding something on the edge, it actually cuts out that edge automatically, and its new inset tools are really, really cool.
I definitely need to get back into working in Blender. It's been a while.
Well, I have recently been watching. I don't know if you've seen Ian Hubert. He has lazy Blender tutorials.
Interesting.
And he does a lot of video work. He does a lot of work with making post-apocalyptic worlds. Actually, a lot of them. So most of his videos are focused on using Blender to insert elements into the real world or making a real world element and doing something with it. And he's very, very good at it. He'll take a picture of something and then modify the geometry of it really quickly so that it is in 3 dimensions. So as you pan past it, it shifts the way that it's supposed to. But all that he's done basically is lock the camera in a certain way. What you have is what would be a tabletop is just a extruded 2 pixels that are just kind of smeared across the top of it, but nobody's going to see it from that angle, so who cares? And there's a lot of that going on. But if you watch his lazy Blender tutorials, they're very quick. They aren't actual tutorials. They're just like, hey, this is a way that it could be done, and he rambles through it real fast. But it has inspired me to try doing more video editing with Blender and making more video stuff. So I may be doing that in the future. But I love that once you start with Blender, you can get into it and go any direction with it, and it totally allows it. Here, let's see.
You really can.
Lazy Blender tutorials. Get the one that I love is the shaky cam. No, what's it called? Handheld cameras. Animate handheld cameras in Blender. Lazy tutorial is a fantastic, fantastic video, and that video alone taught me so much. Okay, friggin', I don't know what I'm going to do about curing here. It is just choking. All right. I'm going to look up how to find Cura log files. Well, Aaron, I think I need to go. I've got some patrons here that need my attention.
Oh, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
I probably should end this anyway because I need to go and
Well, I think I need to reboot my computer. But it's always cool, man. So, yeah, I keep thinking, since you're in video production, you got to know somebody to be willing to edit my videos for me so I can do more of them. Because, man, editing is a slow process.
It is a slow process.
Yeah.
Very slow.
Oh, sorry, Chris, real fast. Oy, oy, oy.
Hi.
So, Chris, you're asking about the download. If you click on the download Blender 2.8a, let's see. Well, I guess not. Yesterday, they had let's see. They had a link for it. Now it's just the experimental link. Let's see, try Blender. I'm clicking on try Blender 2.8. Ah, there we go. So you click on the try Blender 2.83 beta, and there is a link in there for 2.9 alpha.
Gotcha.
So see if you can find that, Steve. Or Steve. Steve again. Steve Carell. That's why my brain is breaking. There you go, Chris. Now, hey, Aaron, which kid is this for you? That's your first one.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, you're looking. Wait. Did you know that Chris's dad is Steve Carell? We know the son of somebody famous.
That's funny.
You said so.
Well, no, yeah, his dad is Steve. His dad's actually popped in chat a couple of times for the show. So, but yeah, we need to get you back on the show sometime whenever you've got some time, and if you want to, chat about whatever.
Well, and maybe I will bring you on to play some Minecraft. I'm going to have to decide a day for it. It's probably going to be a Monday or Tuesday, and it'll be about this same time for it. But we'll see if we can't get you back into Minecraft, as well as using that as a background for just chatting about stuff.
Sounds good to me. But yeah, it's always nice to sit and just kind of chat and not have any particular subject and just enjoy the time.
Joe smiles and mumbles amateur. Was I mumbling? I apologize if I was mumbling. Part of the problem is my microphone on this computer is sub-optimal. But I'm working on fixing that because, yes, more streaming, more. I want to do more electronics with people. I want to have a good time.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that.
Do you do any Arduinos and electronics and stuff like that?
I actually have Arduinos. I have an Arduino starter kit, and I need to actually get into it and start working on it because my plan is to do videos with it and, introduction to Arduino and everything on it because I'm a newbie with it. And
well, maybe we could do that. I can get my space set up, and we can hang out and do some tutorials together because
sounds fun.
I don't know if you saw, I did a video a while back, but I've got. Hold on for 1 second. Pause. I'll be right back. So here at the Makerspace, we got a couple of different starter kits, and we got the Elgoo starter kit, and we were trying out a couple of them. And the Elgoo starter kit is a fantastic starter kit, but this Freenove starter kit came with the best book. Now, this book is a PDF, but I printed it out and I printed it out on half sheets, cut them in half, took them to my local print shop to get them bound together. And so
Nice.
you can actually walk through and go through the whole book. But this thing is fantastic because every lesson is perfect.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm talking this thing up, but here's the best part. You don't need to buy their starter kit. This is a free download on their website. You can go get it regardless of your starter kit. Follow through with it. But every lesson is like this. Here's a little bit of knowledge and lecture and information that you need to know. Now we're going to do the project. Set your project up like this. Type this code into the Arduino. They have the code right here for you. Type it in. Don't go grab it off the website or nothing like that. Learn what the code does. Then it will do a thing and you can follow through. And isn't that really cool?
Nice.
And the projects start with blinking a couple of LEDs, and then they go to button controls, and then they go to servo controls, and then they go to stepper controls. And then they have a project that brings it all together that I absolutely love. I'll see if I can quickly find it because it makes me so happy that it even exists. I can't find it. But what you do is you take their keypad. There it is. I found it. So you've got your keypad, okay, going into your Arduino, which has a buzzer and a does it have a button on it? And no, just a buzzer on there, and a servo. And when you type in the right code onto the keypad, the servo will rotate 90 degrees, put that in a box, and you've got a lock box.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
The code for it is 2 pages, but you type it in yourself and learn it. And it's so cool.
Yeah, I've got an actual Arduino starter kit from Arduino, and I got it off of Facebook Marketplace from
it's
a guy.
Arduino in a box of parts, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all you have to do is
and it's also, well, I don't have a keypad, but I've also got the Arduino book for it. So it actually has the book, and it has the code in the book that you can type up from the book. So
yeah, I've got like 10 years of software development, so this C-based language that it's all based around to me is completely comprehensible. But like I don't mind using that to help teach other people.
Oh yeah, no, I totally. That's one thing I was like, I want to do it so I can learn. Whenever I do my videos on doing a gear, like I learn by doing it.
Yeah.
I do a video numerous times because I'm learning it. And then I got the finished video.
Here in the makerspace on these virtual makerspaces on Mondays and Tuesdays is we'll have a little setup here and we'll do an Arduino project and you guys can follow along or not. And some of it I'll be learning and running into problems and we can have just like you do at a makerspace, have a collaborative learning environment.
That sounds fun to me. I'm up for that because Mondays and Tuesdays, my little man is at my mom's so I can get some sleep. And I've also got, do I have them over here? Well,
I wonder what Scott's reference to just 2 kids.
Probably talk about like which one is that when I had my son.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so no, it's just the one kid. I've had this for years.
Up closer to the camera, can't see. I still don't know. Although it's a burglar alarm kit. Okay.
It's a burglar alarm kit, but I mean, I've kept it. It's got some wires and stuff in there. It never actually worked. I think that the speaker was messed up. Oh, I've got it. No, probably in my box that I can't get to at the moment. Yeah. Which the box would be that gray one right there.
Yeah.
But I've also got Arduinos this big, little Beetles.
Yep, I love those. Well, I say I love those. I don't actually, but I do love the simplicity of an Arduino. I love that it's really not that complicated. But I think the smallest that I like to go are these Arduino minis that is kind of hiding in here because they are a fully featured, fully functional Arduino, but they cost like $250.
Wow.
You know, I don't mind throwing those in the project and being. I've burnt out a couple of them because I didn't know what I was doing. I destroyed them, and I'm like, oh well, I'm out another $250.
It's not bad at all.
No. That's definitely worth the price of learning.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll definitely need to try picking some of those up for that price.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean I've got those little beetles for trying to learn. So I've got some that are, about the size of a quarter, and I've got one that's actually smaller than that.
So this is a project that I've been working on for a while. Oh, hey, there's my camera. So this one has a radio module and a servo on it. This one has a radio module and a potentiometer on it. So if you tilt this one, the servo follows along with your motion because all it's doing is reading and broadcasting, and then this is receiving and turning. And the idea is, once I figure out what to do with all these stupid wires, because this thing has a ton of wires all over the place, is I take this one and I mount it on a golf club. And I take this one and I put it on the tabletop, and I go, bang, and I play mini golf on the tabletop, but swinging an actual golf club.
Nice.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun.
And my goal with that, the reason why I haven't done anything with this is because I just got the capability to print conductive filament in with a print. And so I want to make a model that you just slap the electronics directly into, and it has weaving throughout it all the conductive paths to connect them. And I can, instead of having a proper circuit that's all laid out in one place, I can do this with in 3 dimensions, theoretically. So I got to play with that idea.
That's pretty cool.
That's my next big project. And now that I'm back in the makerspace, that'll happen in a year, maybe 2 years.
Oh no, I understand that and completely agree. And the one thing that's nice about having a printer is you can make something, test print it, get it going out. I mean, this was a test print and they turned out perfect. So I mean, I just started keep printing them off. But if you needed something to house something, just model it up. If you've got the board for an Arduino, you know what you need, like with a battery. Say this is the size of your board and all your stuff, and this is your battery. Just kind of get everything lined up, and then if you've got a servo or something else, just model around that size. And if there's any parts where a screw can go in, and then mount where your battery needs to go in, and there you go with 3D printing. That's perfect for it. Just to go with Arduinos and everything.
Cool. Yeah.
So I mean, it's super nice to see all that stuff together. Because whenever I got into making things and doing things, I didn't have a printer. So
yeah, once you get that printer, once you close that gap between, because there's something magical about designing something and saying, now make it real, and the machine goes, okay, I will make this real for you. You just sit back, Mr. Human, and let me take care of it. So cool.
And then you just watch it do layer by layer.
Yeah. And the sound of it, just that. I love it. I actually have several 3D printers that are fairly quiet when they print. And
this one's super quiet.
Yeah, and while that's impressive, I'm like, is it singing to me,
Oh yeah. I need to get a new extruder head on this one. Key Tech doesn't use a regular
yeah, they don't use regular nozzles, regular heat block, that sort of thing.
Well, yeah. Thermistor. They don't use a thermistor. They use a thermocoupler. That's what they call it. and it's got like this stupid sensor in it. So so my board's not been fried. I just needed the new sensor for it, which is the entire block for it. You want to say hi? Don't grab it. So
I'm waving at you, buddy.
say hi.
Okay, Knuckles.
So, Cutter, Knuckles. Can you do Knuckles?
Right at the
Knuckles?
camera, buddy. Knuckles. Yeah, I know it. Do you ever do this one? Thumbs. And you get the thumb.
It's like, I will bite Dad's thumb.
He wins. That's good.
Thumb up.
Well done.
He's like, I don't got that one done yet. So, all right. Well, I will get you able so you can get going and taking care of your stuff you need to do there.
I should get some work done. I'm most.
Yep. Yeah. So, thank you, everybody, for popping in chat and just joining us with just conversation and having fun, just talking.
We need to hang out more often. And
yeah.
Monday and Tuesdays we'll be doing virtual makerspace. So I hope to see you there sometime. But I only just got the tech set up, so.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely try and pop in and check that out. Don't forget, guys, to join Chris and I on his channel this Friday for the AC show.
That's right. That's always a good time. Who's good? Do you guys got a guest lined up this week? Or?
We've been trying to get 3D Print Viking on now and again. I'm not sure if he's gonna be on this week or when he will. I'm not sure if it's just Chris and I. That's usually whenever it's his channel, he picks what's going on, and whenever it's mine, I usually pick what's going on, and sometimes we cross back and forth.
It will be a surprise to everybody.
Yep. So
I think I just figured out the problem with Kira. My SD card is way broken.
Well, that doesn't work. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, do you take care of yours, and then we'll catch you later, Aaron.
All right, everybody. So thank you, Joe, and everybody else, and we will see you later.